Turn your pain into power, one expansion. Pain is a teacher, not a prison. You ever notice how a wild horse reacts the first time you put a saddle on its back? It bucks, it kicks, it fights with every ounce of strength it's got. Not because the saddle is evil, not because the rider is cruel, but because the horse doesn't understand what's happening. Pain works the same way. It shows up in your life, throws its weight on your shoulders, and suddenly you're kicking, screaming, and doing everything you can to shake it off. But here's the hard truth. Running from pain doesn't make it disappear. It just makes it chase you longer. The day you stop running and face it, that's the day you realize pain was never here to imprison you. It was here to teach you. Think about the lessons you've learned in your easy days. Not many, right? Comfort doesn't sharpen a man. Comfort dulls him. But pain cuts deep. Pain carves into your soul. And if you let it, it writes wisdom on your bones. A man who's never been broken doesn't know his own strength. A woman who's never cried herself to sleep doesn't know the depth of her own courage. Pain is the teacher that shows you who you really are. It strips away the excuses, the fancy talk, the pretending. Pain grabs you by the collar, looks you in the eye, and asks, "What are you made of?" Now, I'm not saying pain feels good. Lord knows it doesn't. But it's necessary. Just like a blacksmith has to heat up iron, hammer it, and shape it, life has to put us through fire and pressure to make us stronger. Without the hammering, iron stays soft. Without the fire, it never bends into the sword it was meant to be. When you start to see pain as a teacher, you stop asking, "Why me?" and start asking, "What's this trying to teach me?" That shift in thinking changes everything. You go from victim to student, from chained to free. I remember a fella I knew. Life hit him hard, lost his job, his health turned sour, and then his marriage walked out the door. Most men would have crumbled, but he didn't. He said to me one day, "I figured if pain showed up at my doorstep, it must have brought a lesson I needed. So I stopped cursing it and started learning from it." That man came out stronger, wiser, and more grounded than before. His pain didn't destroy him, it taught him. That's the choice we all have. You can either let pain lock you up, keep you bitter and broken, or you can let it school you, mold you, and turn you into something powerful. The pain you're running from might just be the very thing that sets you free. So the next time life throws you into the fire, don't scream for the exit. Instead, ask yourself, what am I supposed to learn here? Because the lesson inside that pain might just be the key to unlocking your future. Pain is a teacher, not a prison, and once you learn that, you'll stop fighting it and start listening. That's when your life changes to expansion. Scars are proof of strength. You ever notice how an old cowboy's hands look? Scarred, calloused, weathered from years of rope burns, broken bones, and blisters. You shake that hand, and you can feel the miles it's traveled. Same thing with life. Every scar we carry tells a story. And contrary to what some folks think, scars ain't signs of weakness. Scars are proof of survival. They're living evidence that you were tested, and you endured. See, scars don't show up unless you've been cut. They don't form unless you've healed. That's the beauty of them. A scar says, "I was wounded, but I didn't die there. I bled, but I kept walking." If you've got scars on your body, in your mind, or buried deep in your heart, don't you dare hide 'em in shame. Hold 'em up like medals, because those scars are the map of every battle you've won. Now, the world we live in today tries to paint scars as ugly. They sell you creams, surgeries, and filters to cover up every mark. But let me tell you straight, your scars are not ugly, they're sacred. They're proof that life came at you swinging and you swung back. Think about a tree after a storm. Lightning strikes it, winds bend it, branches break. But when that tree heals, those cracks and twists become part of its character. Folks walk by and admire it. They say, "That tree's been through something." Well, same with you. Every scar tells folks you didn't give up when life got rough. You took the hit, you healed, and you kept standing. I knew a rancher once who lost half his hand in an accident with a piece of machinery. You'd think that'd break a man, but he never hid that hand. He showed it. He said, "This hand proves I went through hell and made it back." And folks respected him more for it, not less. That's the truth about scars. They don't diminish your worth, they add to it. They're evidence that you're tested, tempered, and tougher than most. But here's the kicker: scars aren't just on the outside. Some of the deepest scars live in the soul. Betrayals, heartbreaks, failures, losses. Those invisible scars, they're just as real and just as powerful. They might not be seen, but they shape you all the same. The quiet strength you carry, the empathy you show, the resilience you've built, that's born out of those unseen scars. The problem is, too many folks hide their scars. They pretend they've never been hurt. But you know what happens when you hide scars. You rob others of hope, because someone else out there is bleeding right now, and they need to see your healed wound to believe they can heal too. That's why scars are not just proof of strength. They're tools for healing. When you show your scars, you're telling the world, "I survived. You can too." That's power, so stop being ashamed of what you've been through. Stop trying to cover up the marks life left on you. Those marks are holy. They tell your story louder than words ever could. Next time you look at a scar on your skin or remember one etched on your heart, don't flinch. Smile, because that scar says you didn't quit. You made it through, and the more scars you carry, the more proof you have that you're stronger than anything that's tried to break you. Scars are proof of strength, friend. Proof you've been through fire and walked out the other side. Proof that you're not fragile, you're forged. So don't hide your scars, wear them like badges, let them speak for you, because they're not marks of defeat. They're marks of victory. 3. Expansion. Pressure creates diamonds. You ever held a diamond up to the sunlight? Sparkles like fire trapped in stone. But here's the thing most folks forget. A diamond wasn't born that way. It started as just a lump of coal, buried deep in the earth, nothing special about it. What turned it into something rare and priceless? Pressure, time, heat. Without those, it would have stayed ordinary forever. Now, life's the same way. Every one of us starts like that lump of coal, full of potential, but rough, unshaped, and hidden. And life, well, it's got a way of burying us deep. Pressures stack up. Bills, losses, betrayals, disappointments. They weigh on you until you feel like the whole mountain's pressing down on your chest. And it hurts. Makes you want to give up, but here's the truth. That pressure ain't there to crush you. It's there to transform you. Coal doesn't complain about the weight of the earth. It just takes it. Slowly, quietly, it becomes something stronger. You too have that same choice. Pressure will either break you or make you, and the deciding factor, your perspective. See, most folks run from pressure. They say, "I can't handle this, it's too much." They crack under the weight because they think it's punishment, but those who understand know better. They see pressure for what it really is, life's forge, a place where greatness is born. I once knew a young man who grew up dirt poor. His family could barely afford bread. School wasn't kind to him either. Teachers said he'd never make much of himself. He worked jobs nobody wanted, carried shame nobody saw. But instead of folding, he let that pressure build him. Every insult became fuel. Every struggle sharpened his resolve. Years later, he was the most disciplined, respected man I ever met. Not because life was easy on him, but because it was hard. Pressure turned that boy into a diamond. It's the same for you. If you're feeling the weight right now, don't curse it. Don't say, "Why me?" Say, "Shape me." Because diamonds aren't made in comfort. They're made in darkness, silence, and crushing weight. And when they emerge, they shine in a way nothing else can. Think of the strongest people you know. Every one of them carries a story of pressure. Maybe it was sickness, maybe it was loss, maybe it was failure. But they didn't run. They stayed in the fight until the pressure molded them, and now they shine. There's a saying that a man's character isn't tested in easy times. It's revealed in hard ones. Anyone can smile when the sun is shining. But only the strong can stand when the storm rolls in, and it's in that storm, under that weight, that the diamond in you begins to form. So here's my advice. Don't despise the pressure you're under. Welcome it. Let it work on you. Every time you feel like life is squeezing the breath out of you, remember it's shaping something precious inside you. One day you'll look back at the nights you thought you wouldn't survive, the seasons you thought would break you, and you'll realize they were the very seasons that made you who you are. The weight you hated was the tool that revealed your worth. Pressure creates diamonds, friend, and if you're under pressure right now, maybe that's proof you're destined for something more than ordinary. Don't give up, don't break, let the weight do its work. Because when you finally step out of that darkness, you won't be just another stone. You'll be a diamond, shining, strong, and unshakable. For expansion, don't let pain make you bitter. Let it make you better. Pain is a strange thing. It shows up like an uninvited guest, loud, heavy, and inconvenient. And the way you handle it will either make you stronger or make you sour. See, pain doesn't leave you the same as it found you. It always changes a person. But here's the choice you get. It can either harden your heart, turn you cold, fill you with bitterness, or it can carve you into something wiser, gentler, tougher, and better. Bitterness is the easy road. Anybody can choose it. When life deals you a bad hand, betrayal, heartbreak, loss, failure, it's tempting to point at the world and say, it's unfair. I'll never trust again. I'll never love again. I'll never try again. And slowly, brick by brick, you build a wall around yourself. That wall feels safe, but it also keeps the light out. It traps you in the darkness. That's bitterness, but better. That's the harder road. It means taking the same pain, the same betrayal, and saying, this will not poison me. I'll use it. I'll grow from it. Instead of closing your heart, you expand it. Instead of turning cruel, you let compassion grow. Instead of hating, you learn to forgive, not because they deserve it, but because you deserve peace. I knew an old ranch hand who carried both paths in him. Years ago, his brother cheated him out of land and money, cut him deep. For a long while, bitterness ran his veins like fire. You could see it in his eyes, hear it in his voice, anger at every corner of life. But one day, he told me he got tired of drinking that poison. He realized his brother had taken his money, but he was the one letting him steal his joy year after year. So he made a decision. He wasn't gonna let that pain make him bitter anymore. He used it to become better, to value honesty, to treat others fair, to build a reputation that couldn't be bought or sold. That man taught me something that stuck. Bitterness eats you from the inside. Better builds you from the inside. One destroys, the other restores, and it's a choice, your choice. Here's the truth. You can't control every storm that comes your way, but you can control what it leaves behind inside you. You can't stop people from hurting you, but you can stop their hurt from turning your soul toxic. Every hard season gives you two paths. One leads to resentment, the other to resilience. One leads to chains, the other to freedom. Now, don't mistake me choosing better. Doesn't mean pretending the pain didn't happen. It doesn't mean smiling through the tears or ignoring the wound. It means facing it head on, learning from it, and refusing to let it define you in bitterness. It means saying, this hurt me, but it won't control me. I'll rise because of it, not rot because of it. Pain can break your heart wide open, but if you let it, that opening becomes a doorway for growth. You learn patience because you had to wait. You learn strength because you had to endure. You learn kindness because you know what it feels like to hurt. That's the beauty of letting pain make you better. It not only changes you, it helps you change others for the good. So if you're walking through pain right now, I'll tell you plain, be careful which road you choose. Bitterness feels easier, but it's a trap. Better takes work, but it sets you free. Every scar, every tear, every sleepless night. It can either rot your soul or raise your soul. The choice belongs to you. Don't let pain make you bitter, friend. Let it make you better. And when folks look at your life years from now, they'll see a person who didn't just survive the storm. They grew stronger because of it. 5. Expansion. Your story can heal others. There's something powerful about a story. Not the polished ones you read in books, not the ones dressed up to look perfect, but the raw, messy, scarred stories of real people who walked through fire and made it out the other side. Stories like that carry medicine in them. They're the kind of words that stop another soul from giving up when the night feels too long. See, your pain isn't just about you. That may sound strange, but it's the truth. The storms you've survived, the battles you've fought, the scars you carry, those things were never meant to stay locked up inside. They're tools, weapons, and healing salves for somebody else who's walking through the same valley you once crawled through. The world is full of silent sufferers, folks who smile in public but cry alone at night, people who feel like no one could possibly understand what they're going through, and that's where your story steps in. Because when you speak up, when you say, "I've been there too," something breaks loose inside them. They realize they ain't alone, that someone else walked the same dark trail and came out alive. I'll tell you about a woman I knew. She had battled with grief after losing her child. For years she thought her pain was too heavy to share, too ugly for the world. But one day she opened her mouth. She told her story to another mother who had just buried her little one. And that mother said through tears, "You're the first person who makes me believe I might survive this." You see, it wasn't advice that saved her. It wasn't perfect words. It was a story. A scar turned outward so another soul could see the light shining through the cracks. That's the gift you carry. Your story has the power to heal. Not because you're perfect, but because you're not. Because you've been knocked down, bled out, and still got back up. That kind of truth reaches deeper than polished speeches ever could. Now I know the temptation. You want to hide your past. You want folks to think you've always had it together. But healing doesn't come from pretending. Healing comes from honesty. When you share the real, unedited version of your story, you give others permission to be real too. And in that honesty, healing flows like water in a dry land. Think of it like this. A lantern does no good hidden under a blanket, but when you lift it high, it lights the path for others stumbling in the dark. Your story is that lantern. If you keep it buried, someone else might stumble longer than they needed to. But if you raise it up, you might guide them to safety. Don't underestimate the power of your voice. Somewhere out there, a young man is ready to quit because he thinks he's too broken to fix. Somewhere, a woman is drowning in shame because she thinks she's the only one, and all it might take is your story, your scars, your survival, or them to find the courage to keep going. And here's another truth. When you share your story, it doesn't just heal others, it heals you. Speaking it out loud releases the weight. Turning pain into testimony transforms wounds into wisdom. Suddenly, the thing that once crushed you becomes the very thing that carries others forward. So don't let shame or fear silence you. Your story matters, your scars matter, the nights you thought would kill you. They matter because somebody else needs them. Somebody else is desperate for proof that broken people can heal, that lost souls can be found, that dark nights do give way to mornings. Your story can heal others, friend, but only if you open your mouth and share it. Don't bury it in silence. Shine it like a lantern, because the survival of another soul may depend on hearing that they're not walking this trail alone. 6. Expansion. Power is born in the struggle. Nothing worth having ever came easy. You ask any farmer, any soldier, any mother, any old rancher with lines carved deep into his face. They'll all tell you the same thing. The things that matter most are born out of struggle, not comfort. Not ease, struggle. See, struggle is the grindstone of life. It sharpens you, toughens you, and pulls out a strength you never even knew you had. Without struggle, you stay soft. Without resistance, your muscles don't grow. Without battles, your courage never wakes up. Power isn't handed to you on a silver platter. Power is forged in the heat of adversity. Think about a seed in the dirt. It's buried under darkness, pressed down by soil, fighting just to find the light. That struggle, the pushing, the breaking, the straining upward, that's what makes it grow. No struggle, no roots, no tree, and no tree ever bore fruit without first fighting its way through the dirt. Life works the same way. The strongest people you know didn't get strong because everything went their way. They got strong because it didn't. They didn't wake up powerful one morning. They were forged in heartbreak, in failure, in nights they thought would never end. And when they came out the other side, they carried a power that couldn't be bought or faked. I knew a cowboy once who spent years breaking wild horses. He told me the secret wasn't in breaking the horse down, but in letting the struggle happen. The horse fought, bucked, and resisted, but through that struggle the bond was formed, and out of it came something powerful, a rider and a horse moving as one. If he had skipped the struggle, there'd be no strength, no trust, no power. It's the same with you. You can't shortcut the hard times. You can't skip the struggle and still expect to grow strong. The very thing you're cursing right now. The sickness, the failure, the loneliness, the uphill battle. That's where your power is being born. Every tear, every setback, every ounce of sweat, it's not wasted. It's shaping you, molding you, turning you into someone who can carry weight others can't. Now, struggle ain't pleasant. It'll test every fiber of your being. It'll make you question your worth, your faith, your strength. But hear me when I say, it's in that exact moment, when you feel like you can't take another step, that your true power is waiting to be discovered. You don't find power lounging in comfort. You don't find it in applause, or easy roads, or smooth sailing. Power lives in the trenches, in the storm, in the long nights of wrestling with your own doubts. That's where you meet the strongest version of yourself, so don't run from the struggle, don't despise it, embrace it, let it do its work, because the power you admire in others, the grit, the courage, the unshakable spirit, it didn't come free. It was paid for in sweat, in pain, in scars, and the same can be true for you if you stop asking, why me, and start saying, this is where my strength is born. Someday, you'll look back at the hardest chapters of your life and realize, they were the ones that gave you the most. Not the easiest days, but the hardest. Not the wins, but the battles. Because power isn't born in comfort. Power is born in the struggle, so take heart, friend. If you're struggling today, you're not failing. You're growing, you're being forged, and the power that comes out of this fight will carry you farther than you ever thought you could go. Turn your pain into power. Life's not a straight road, and it sure ain't easy. Along the way, you're gonna bleed, you're gonna struggle, you're gonna carry scars that nobody else sees. But every one of those hard moments carries a choice. You can let pain crush you, or you can let it shape you. You've heard it by now. Pain is a teacher, not a prison. It's there to school you, not chain you. Scars aren't shame. They're proof of survival, proof you stood when life tried to knock you down. Pressure creates diamonds, and if you feel crushed, maybe it's because you're being shaped into something rare. Pain doesn't have to make you bitter. It can make you better if you choose the harder but higher road. Your story isn't just for you. When you share it, it heals others and lights the way for someone still in the dark. And above all, real power, the kind that can't be shaken, ain't born in comfort. It's born in the struggle. Put those truths together and you'll see what I've seen. Pain is not your enemy. It's the very forge that makes you who you are. It's the fire that tempers your steel, the storm that teaches you how to stand, the weight that builds your strength. So don't waste your suffering, don't bury your scars, don't curse the pressure, use it, own it. Let it carve you into someone so strong that even the storms bow to your resilience. Because when you turn your pain into power, nothing, no man, no storm, no shadow, can ever take that power away from you. And one day, when you stand tall and someone asks how you made it through, you'll look him in the eye, smile, and say, I turned my pain into power.